Have you ever wondered why the end of your grip is tapered in the way that it is? It seems kind of strange given that your pinky on your left hand is obviously the smallest finger on your hand, and that's the fattest part of the grip. Why do you think they designed it that way? And it's also interesting because there's some grips out there that are actually reverse tapered, so that this part of the grip is actually the smallest part of the grip, and it actually gets fatter as you go down the grip where your right hand would be. So who's right and who's wrong, and why did they do this in the first place? Well, it's a great question, and incredibly enough, it's an incredibly important part of your golf swing when you understand it. So if you don't understand why this is tapered the way that it is, and you don't feel like this tapered part is actually helping your golf swing, you're going to start to understand why you probably can't get into those tour quality impact positions, and why you can't pick up the club head speed you think you should have, even though you're swinging at it as hard as you can. So let's take a look at this. First thing I want you to understand is one simple piece of math that we're going to work with. For every ½ inch in club length that you go up, so let's say from your 7-iron to your 6-iron, your 6-iron is probably about a ½ inch longer than your 7-iron, you're going to, on average, pick up about 2 miles an hour of club head speed, just for the sake that the club is a ½ inch longer. Simple enough, right? So for every club in the bag that we go up for every ½ inch, we can use that as some very simple rough estimates as to how much club head speed you're going to pick up. That's why the whole concept of a single length set of irons just simply can't work. By the time you get to your longer irons, you can't pick up enough club head speed to make up for the difference. So that's why your clubs all have to be a little bit longer than the other. That and the combination of the loft is what allows you to hit the ball further with a longer club. So we need that extra ½ inch per club to help us hit the ball a long ways. But if you're not using the club correctly, and I'm going to show you why in a second, you're going to not take advantage of that extra ½ inch, and you're going to not be able to hit the ball as far as some skinny guy like myself who hits the ball a long ways without a lot of effort. That's because I'm using the club the way it was designed to be used. So let's take a look at this. The one thing I want you to understand is that, and I've talked about this in other videos, is that the golf swing is predominantly left-hand dominant, okay? And so when you start to think of it that way, you're going to start to understand how things fall into place the way that they do. The problem is most golfers are right-handed, and they're right-hand dominant, and they try to swing the golf club right-handed, and stuff starts falling apart really fast when you do that. So here's what's going to happen. And here, tell me if this is you. You come into impact and you look like this, where you're scooping and flipping it, and your right hand is causing your left wrist to break down. As this happens, what you're essentially doing is you're making the pivot point on your club further down the shaft. Whereas the way that I'm swinging with using my left hand to control the club, I'm taking every inch of the shaft and utilizing it to generate speed because my club is pivoting from up here instead of down here. So now you can imagine if I'm trying to force the club to release with my right hand, I've effectively made my iron 4 inches shorter. You're not going to be able to make up 4 inches of speed no matter how hard you flip it with your right hand. You have to use the taper in the grip and use the last 3 fingers in your left hand to allow the club to release with a lot of speed, and the club should almost feel like it's trying to slip out of your hands, and the taper is what's allowing you to hold on to it. If it wasn't tapered and you swung the club correctly, the club would actually fly out of your hands. It'd be very hard to hold on to. So that's why your grips are tapered. So now, in the next part of this video, I'm going to show you 2 simple drills that are going to help you learn how to understand and take advantage of this leverage piece of the swing to get a lot more speed with a lot less effort.